going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods, Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, August 11th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. As I'm sure you all know by now, there's been a lot of talk about Michael Krizo lately. So instead of adding to the hyperbole, we're going to share a direct quote that 4-time Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler made a few days ago. Jay was asked what he thought of Michael competing at the IFBB Prague Pro in September on a podcast, and this is what he had to say. Quote, "I feel he can win the amateur, he can win the pro, and he can get instant qualification for this year's Olympia. He's going to be a big problem. He's 100% legit." That's coming from a 4-time Olympia champ who is, by and large, one of the most respected people in our industry. Now, whether or not this goes according to plan, well, is still anyone's guess at this point. But if anyone out there is still wondering if the hype surrounding this guy is real, it looks like we have our answer. Now let's just assume that everything works out with Michael Krizo, and he does end up securing his Olympia qualification at the Prague Pro in a few weeks. Now the real question becomes, how does he fit into the equation? And do we think he has enough firepower to make it past some of the more established guys like Regan Grimes, who we already know will be coming back bigger and harder and better this year? According to the latest update from Regan's camp, right now his weight is still sitting comfortably somewhere in the 290 range, and he feels like he's exactly where he needs to be to go out and make a serious run at the top 10 at this year's Mr. Olympia. It seems like every year there are 1 or 2 guys who get everything to click on the Olympia stage, and Regan's someone who could easily fall into that category this season, because if he comes in firing on all cylinders, who's to say that he doesn't end up beating out a guy like Krizo, or possibly even pushing for a spot inside the top 10. And since we're already talking about some new faces who could potentially shake things up at the Olympia level this year, we might as well go ahead and roll right into this new update from Samson Dauda. Following his announcement a few days ago that stage 1 of his first Olympia prep was officially underway. The mid-season break that he took between now and the Boston Pro looks like it's been huge for him, because this is the first time in his career that he's been this big and this lean at the start of a prep. Samson is one of a handful of guys who came into the year with expectations that were sky high, but to his credit, up till this point, he's been able to live up to the billing, which is something that we can't always say for a lot of other competitors. Obviously, this will be the biggest show of his career, and it'll be the first time that he's ever shared the stage with so many guys who also fall into that upper echelon of bodybuilding. But if his conditioning is on point, he could end up being one of the biggest surprises of the entire weekend. And before we sign off today, we wanted to take a minute to send a shout out to longtime friend of the show, Wesley Vissers, to congratulate him and his wife for welcoming a new baby girl into the family last week. I know that we joke a lot about having tunnel vision and blocking out distractions on this show, but the truth of the matter is, there's nothing more important in this world than family. And if anything, you'd imagine that now he'll be even more motivated to show his little girl that not all superheroes wear capes, because sometimes they wear posing trunks too, and they bring home giant trophies to stick up on the wall so they can tell you stories about how they used to be cool before you were even born, and that you will never even believe, despite the fact that you'll have thousands and thousands of pictures and videos to prove it. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.